Welcome to Houselux Estate, your hub for intriguing and enlightening content. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating exploration into the human mind and spirit, specifically focusing on what happens when we decide to self-isolate for 90 days without any human contact. This topic is not just of academic interest, but it's also of great relevance in our current world, where circumstances often compel us to isolate from others. Understanding the psychological effects of such isolation is crucial, as it helps us to better navigate through such experiences, and also aids in fostering empathy for those who may be going through it. In this journey, we'll examine the various phases one may go through during such a period of self-isolation, from the initial adjustment phase to the aftermath of the experience. So get ready for a deep dive into the human psyche. Stay with us as we delve into the journey of self-isolation day by day. Imagine it's day one of your isolation journey. You're alone with no human contact. The world outside continues its hustle, oblivious to your solitude. The initial sensation? Novelty. A newfound freedom that seems liberating. It's like a blank canvas, waiting for the painter's brush. You set your own schedule, eat when you want, sleep when you want. The freedom is intoxicating. But as the days roll on, the canvas remains untouched. The novelty begins to fade. The freedom that once seemed so enticing now feels like an endless abyss. It's a strange paradox. You're free, yet confined within the four walls of your solitude. The silence that was once peaceful begins to echo with an eerie emptiness. As the first week concludes, you notice changes in your everyday routine. Your sleep patterns start to shift. You find yourself wide awake at odd hours, struggling to find sleep when the world outside is tucked in. The concept of day and night, morning and evening, becomes blurred, a simple thing. The rhythm of life is disrupted. Next comes the change in your appetite. You eat, not out of hunger, but out of boredom. It's a coping mechanism, a way to break the monotony. But soon, even the act of eating loses its appeal. You're just going through the motions. Then there's the restlessness. It creeps in slowly, like a shadow stretching with the setting sun. The walls of your solitude seem to close in. Restlessness leads to boredom, and boredom leads to a gnawing sense of unease. By the end of the third week, you realize that the freedom you once celebrated has become a cage of isolation. And as we close in on day 30, the reality of the situation starts to sink in. The novelty has worn off. You're alone, truly alone. And there are still 60 more days to go. We're now entering the second month of isolation, the struggle phase. As the walls of your self-imposed solitude close in, feelings of loneliness begin to creep up, like an unwelcome guest. This is a natural response to the absence of social interaction. We are, after all, social creatures. We thrive on connection, on shared experiences, on the simple act of being in the presence of others. Stripped of these, we start to feel an intense longing for human contact. But it's not just loneliness that casts a shadow over this phase. Negative emotions start to surface. Anxiety and depression may knock on the door. You might find yourself questioning your decision to self-isolate, wrestling with the fear of what's happening outside your isolation, or the worry of what awaits when you finally step out of it. These feelings, while difficult to navigate, are not insurmountable. One of the most crucial strategies to combat them is maintaining a routine. It creates a semblance of normalcy, a framework that gives your days structure and purpose. It could be as simple as setting a time for meals, exercise, reading, or even just sitting in silence. The key is consistency. Another important aspect is finding ways to occupy your time. This is where you can tap into your creativity. Perhaps you've always wanted to learn a new language or pick up a musical instrument. Maybe you've been meaning to write that novel that's been brewing in your head for years. Now is the time. Remember, it's essential to keep your mind engaged. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. So pick up a book, start a new hobby, journal your thoughts. These activities not only fill your time, but also provide a much-needed distraction from the loneliness and negative emotions. As we approach day 60, the effects of isolation are becoming more pronounced. But armed with a routine, a way to occupy your time, and an understanding of what you're going through, you're better equipped to face the struggle phase and come out stronger on the other side. As we move into the third month of isolation, a new phase begins, the acceptance phase. This is a period where the reality of solitude starts to sink in, and the mind begins to adapt to the new circumstances. It's a transition, a shift from desperation and confusion to understanding and acceptance. In this phase, individuals may start to create new routines and schedules, finding ways to cope with the solitude. They might establish a routine that includes activities such as reading, writing, meditating, or even exercising. This routine brings a sense of normalcy and control over the situation, making it easier to navigate through the day. The acceptance phase also opens a window for introspection and self-discovery. It's a unique opportunity to spend time with oneself, to reflect and to understand one's thoughts and emotions without the noise and distractions of the outside world. This could be a time to reevaluate life choices, set new goals, or simply to ponder on the mysteries of life. During this phase, individuals may also discover a surprising truth. They might actually start enjoying their own company. They may find comfort in solitude, experiencing a sense of peace and tranquility that is rarely attainable in our fast-paced, interconnected world. This newfound comfort can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and a stronger sense of self-reliance. However, it's important to note that this phase doesn't necessarily mean that the feelings of loneliness or boredom vanish completely. They may still linger, popping up from time to time. But with acceptance, these feelings become more manageable, less overwhelming. They become part of the new normal. As we reach the end of the third month, the isolation has indeed become the new normal. The initial shock and struggle have faded, replaced by acceptance and adaptation. The quiet solitude is no longer a terrifying void, but rather a space for reflection, self-discovery, and personal growth. By day 90, isolation has become the new normal. What happens when the doors finally open and you step back into the world? The aftermath of 90 days of isolation can be as intense as the experience itself. Emerging from a long period of solitude, you may find yourself strangely out of sync with the rhythm of the world. It's like a hibernating bear, waking up after a long winter's sleep. Everything seems brighter, louder, faster. Readjusting to social situations might feel overwhelming. The simple act of conversing with another person could feel like learning a foreign language. You might find yourself craving the silence you once struggled with, or feeling anxious in large groups. Yet, it's not all about struggle. Isolation can also lead to profound personal growth. You may find that your perspective on life has shifted. Perhaps you've developed a deeper appreciation for the relationships in your life, or you've realized the importance of self-care. Maybe, in the silence, you've discovered a new passion, a new goal, or a new understanding of who you are. However, it's essential to remember that while personal growth is a positive outcome, it doesn't negate the potential difficulties. If feelings of anxiety, depression, or unease persist, it's important to seek professional help. Remember, there's no shame in needing support. Mental health professionals are there to help you navigate these feelings and guide you towards recovery. The aftermath of isolation is just as much a part of the journey as the isolation itself. It's a time of readjustment, of rediscovery, and perhaps of rebirth. It's a time to take the lessons you've learned in solitude and apply them to your life. The journey of isolation is a challenging one, but it is also a journey of self-discovery. And with the right support and understanding, it can be a journey that leads to a greater understanding of yourself and the world around you. So that's the journey of self-isolation over 90 days. We've walked you through the various phases that one might experience during this process. In the adjustment phase, we grappled with the sudden change in routine, the quiet, and the solitude. But with time, we found ourselves in the struggle phase, battling feelings of loneliness, boredom, and the fear of missing out. Yet as humans, we are adaptable creatures. We learn to embrace the solitude during the acceptance phase, finding peace within ourselves and discovering new hobbies and interests. Finally, we observe the aftermath, the profound shift in our perspective towards life and human connection. The journey of self-isolation is indeed a roller coaster of emotions, a test of resilience, and a lesson in self-discovery. It is the ultimate exploration of the human psyche in solitude. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to House Lux Estate for more enlightening content.